Grace and peace, everybody. We're back up in the building. It's like we never left. Good to see you. You saw the thumbnail. You saw the title. You know what we're about to do? We're going to be talking about whatever we're watching. I heard somebody call her Crash Out Candace. I've heard her, of course, we call her Candaspiracy. But we are going to look at the most recent, now what she's about to drop is her next video, which will be dropping very shortly. So I thank y'all so much for jumping in with me. Make sure the audio's good. And then drop a green heart in the chat if y'all can hear. I believe everything is good. What's going on? What's happening, good people? All right, so I got it queued up. We're ready to roll. She's starting her video, so let's get at it. Let's get active. All right, let's get her started. This is a watch party, y'all. We're just having a good time. Let's go. All right, so I'm gonna leave that over there on the side, just so we can see when she pops up. When it pops up, we'll see it. Appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for jumping in to the best live chat on the internet. Thank you so much. Good to see you. Why is Officer Tatum getting a lot of hate about his Candace cult? OMG, ridiculous hate. Really? Okay, I just downloaded the video. Juju B. I see he was putting up a video and he was looking pretty flustered. I don't know what the whole background is. So I did. Oh, she's here. Let's see what we got. Let's see what she says today.
Begin your timers, because it is not going to be long until the media tries to convince you that Megyn Kelly, yes, that Megyn Kelly, is Adolf Hitler. I'm not kidding. It's definitely coming. There is going to be some headline in the near future that reads, Megyn Kelly is flirting with anti-Semitism. You can book it. Why? Because out of nowhere, and for absolutely no apparent reason at all, the agents, like I think of them as like Mr. Smith in The Matrix, have around, I guess they're surrounding Megyn Kelly and demanding that she makes a statement against me and Tucker Carlson, of course, Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson. It is so bonkers. I got to show you what they are saying to her. But before we get into that, some incredible breaking news. We have now confirmed that there was indeed a woman who was with the shooter in the footage that was captured by the houses nearby the area. And for whatever reason, the FBI has not yet released or even acknowledged that that footage exists. This is absolutely huge, actually. I think this is the biggest thing that we have uncovered since the beginning of this investigation. So let's jump right back into this. Welcome back to Candace.
No Bibi Netanyahu letter. Nope. So everything she said about that letter, even though the letter was proven, what she said was proven false, she's not going to address it. Okay. All right. I got you, Candy. I got you.
Clarify right at the top here, because sometimes we get a ton of emails about one subject that we've already researched, and that is the case regarding, first and foremost, you're seeing a lot of this chatter going around about the renting of the State Farm Stadium for Charlie Kirk's memorial service. I think there were 90,000 people that attended and then spilled over, and many people online have speculated, accurately by the way, so some credit to you guys, that in order to book a venue of that size, you would have had to done so in advance, right? Venue contracts do not just materialize out of nowhere for a space that holds that many people plus spillover. Now, given my many sources at Turning Point USA, I was able to quickly get an answer on that one for the public. The venue was indeed secured in quick order, but that was because they had help from the White House, and Turning Point did not book that venue back in May, so we can formally debunk that. I was told that the White House stepped in and put in a personal phone call to the event coordinator, and they actually did already have an event that was scheduled, and the White House simply asked those people if they would be willing to move or reschedule their event. It was apparently supposed to be an RV show, actually, and obviously, given the nature of the tragedy, it was globally traumatizing to everybody. I think everybody was moved by Charlie Kirk's assassination. The people that held that space were willing to oblige it. So that tracks with me. That seems accurate. I just wanted to help you guys with that information. Also, another thing that I came across, and this is regarding Phil Lyman's campaign website. You guys
Where's
were
your
asking me if
proof?
we came across that. Yes, I did come across that. And I actually, in the short run, didn't think much of it because I thought, okay, well, he was running a campaign and he has a website and maybe people were writing in reviews and saying he was a great person. But yes, we were aware that George Zinn is one of just 20 people that is a featured endorsement. He endorses Phil Lyman's character. You can see that here. George Zinn writes, rare to find a more caring man with uncompromising goals to make Utah great for generations than Phil Lyman. Not a politician who can be pampered. Phil has a knowledge of urban and rural Utah from every corner and community. Utah is in desperate need of true leadership and representation, and Phil has the passion and the values to be a great governor. He needs our support. Now, not sure what to make of that. I did want to use Wayback Machine to see whether or not that was a new entry. Maybe somebody is trolling there. And no, they are not. That entry has been there at least since, and I'm going to show you this on Wayback, at least since June 6th, 2024. So I don't know what to make of that. Now, I will say other locals told us that George Zinn, for whatever reason, is very involved in Republican politics. Take from that what you will, meaning that he shows up to a lot of events. But of course, Phil Lyman's people would have been controlling that website, certainly should have been aware of his erratic character, and maybe wouldn't want to have featured him on that website. I don't know. It's definitely something to consider. Some other things that are of interest. Okay, yesterday we mentioned that apparently was kind of everybody's first day on the job, right? 9/10 was everybody's first day on the job, meaning that there were a lot of these recent and brand new hires in Utah that would all kind of come across and have to deal with this case. Kash Patel, I told you, cleaned house at the state borough. He then installs a person that has a long tenure in D.C., Robert Bowles. His first case is Charlie Kirk's assassination. Why would he want to uproot and move his family to Utah after having roots in Virginia for so long? I don't know, but that's the circumstance. Also, I told you there was a new CEO and therefore a new lead surgeon, Andrew Zenger, over at the hospital, the regional hospital that Charlie was taken to, although that was not the nearest hospital from the university, and it also ranked extremely low in terms of the most best equipped hospital, if you will, to deal with the sort of trauma that Charlie was suffering from, a neck wound, obviously. So it's very strange. I think it would be interesting to learn whether or not that new CEO and surgeon worked on Charlie. That's something that I would like to find out. If you know that information, please send it to us at tips@CandaceOwens.com.
Because that's not a HIPAA violation.
That's not it, though. There were also some other new people, and I forgot to mention the judge that is in the case, that is overseeing the case against Tyler Robinson, is Judge Tony F. Graff Jr. He was recently appointed to the 4th District Court in May of 2025 by Governor Spencer Cox. I was also informed that the coroner in this case was also brand spanking new. That name has not yet been released. I am told that person is new. Okay. And I have also learned, I've been told that Charlie did indeed have an autopsy. I wanted to let you guys know that because I saw a lot of rumors that were circulating that he did not have an autopsy. That has been confirmed. An autopsy did take place. By the way, you should know that in the state of Utah, in case you, like me, are maybe holding your breath that we're going to see that report, those reports are actually kept private. So there isn't going to be some big release outside of what maybe the immediate family members wishing for that and saying, I feel like something's wrong and I would now like to release the autopsy report. That's the only way that we are going to be able to see it. That's at least what I've learned. Now let's jump back into what actually took place on that day, because I'm starting to get a bit of a stronger hunch about things. We'll jump back in here regarding Shaner Broderick, who is, according to Phil Lyman, a cousin who he refers to Phil as his uncle across interviews. Doesn't matter. They're family members is the main point, and they know each other. And Shaner Broderick has, of course, mysteriously deleted all of his socials except for Instagram, but he's wiped his Instagram. Okay. just deleted his Facebook and just outright deleted his LinkedIn page because I asked him a question before we even went live. That was his response, okay?
Because you and your lunatics are going to dox the man. That's why he did that. That's probably the smartest thing to do. If Candace talks to you, just go ahead and delete all your social. I mean, it just makes sense. If you think you might actually, if you see her walking down the street, just go ahead and pull your phone out and delete all your social, because she's going to put you out there on blast. I mean, for no reason whatsoever. So I'm not mad at the guy. He probably did the right thing.
Now, he did this not before I grabbed everything that I needed from his pages.
See?
I just had a suspicion that he might not be willing to participate, and I was operating under the assumption that he might just privatize his socials. So I instructed my team to grab everything before I even made contact. Now, what I did not anticipate was that he would delete the content. Okay? Why would he delete the content? That part never wasn't tracking for me. It didn't make sense to me. Now, it sort of maybe does make a lot of sense to me. So you will recall that we had received a lead live on the show. Someone paid money to inform us that there was footage that the FBI was hiding, right? She wrote in, said, I have been trying to reach out to you everywhere. The FBI is hiding footage. The doorbell cam footage had more. This is what the person told us. She said the shooter is then seen changing his clothes, and he is with a woman. She told me. Then she gives me a name, and that name was another Lyman family member. And that's when my spidey senses started tingling. I'm like, okay, this is a lot of Lymans. Now, I want to be very clear and fair to Phil Lyman. He has been forthcoming about the fact that his family owned that property. Like, they own everything there. That is not mysterious. He's not hiding that fact. UVU, in many ways, purchased the university from his family, right? That the acreage from his family for that university. But I did feel that if that is the case, obviously, then Phil Lyman would, in theory, be able to access that footage, right? Be able to speak to his family members. And yeah, I didn't want to come out and say that it was a fact that there was a woman with the shooter without any proof. We had no proof outside of this person, and what she was saying felt real to me, definitively, but I needed something more solid. Well, we came across something more solid. We reviewed the footage that Shaner brought her. Of course, we downloaded everything, but hadn't actually reviewed it, had wiped from the internet. And yeah, the proof is in the pudding, and I'm going to let you hear it. Now, to set this up, you will recall that Shaner and his close friends that nobody knows, apparently, they were retracing the footsteps of the killer. They were at his grandma's house, he said, and he's speaking on camera with his aunt to set this footage up for you. And sure enough, you're going to hear right in the beginning, his aunt is going to mention that there was a woman who was helping the shooter, and she's not sure whether or not that person was an accomplice. I would say if you're helping the shooter, you were an accomplice, but somehow we all missed this in this actual clip that Shaner had posted and has since been wiped from the internet. Take a listen.
If you time how long it took him to get from that little part over to here, was way longer than it should have been. So I wondered if the girl had given him stuff, like if there is an accomplice. Sorry, you're filming.
And it said right here, that picture from Sam's across the street, he was right here.
Yep.
So you see, she's talking about the shooter, and she says, I was wondering if the girl had given him stuff, and then somebody off camera says, you know, you're filming, and she says, I'm sorry that you're filming, but it's very clear. There's no question at all. In fact, leading into that, which we should have maybe cut that a little bit earlier, they're speaking about how she thought the FBI had it wrong. The timing didn't make sense to her. And that's what she's starting with. The timing doesn't make sense to me because I thought that it took a little longer for him to walk. Let's play that again, Skylar, just so they can hear it again. She says that there's a girl. Take a listen.
If you time how long it took him to get from that little part over to here, was way longer than it should have been. So I wondered if the girl had given him stuff, like if there is an accomplice. Sorry, you're filming.
And it said right here, that picture from Sam's across the street, he was right here.
Yep.
So just to be clear, those subtitles are wrong. It's just that's AI. She's saying, I wondered if there is an accomplice. Okay. I wondered if there is an accomplice, which we should edit that, Chris, when we re-release that. And then somebody says something, and she's like, sorry, I didn't realize you were filming. Okay. So we have the woman who was my source who said that the FBI cut the footage and she was certain of it. And now we have actually the woman who handed over her footage to the FBI saying, I wondered if that woman was an accomplice. Ladies and gentlemen, what the heck is going on? Who was the woman that was with the alleged shooter? Why wouldn't the FBI immediately release that? Now, again, you should recall that the very next morning, on September the 11th, TMZ already had the doorbell cam footage, okay? So that means that the FBI already had the footage, right? They would have seen that there was a woman with the shooter, and yet they chose during this manhunt, during this 33-hour manhunt, not to inform the public that they were also looking for a woman who this lady believes she wondered whether or not she would have been an accomplice, if that was his accomplice. What happened to this lady? Who is the girl?
Does she make any room for the fact that that little snippet that we just watched, there's no way of me knowing that that snippet is related to what we've been talking about? There's no way to know that. They could have been talking about anything. How do I know that they're talking about this particular event? What is the evidence that this happened? Even who knows when this happened? You're telling me this, but I have no way of knowing this. That information and that little off comment, what does that mean? This is embarrassing for her. And by the way, hang in there till the end. When this is over with, I am going to play a real journalist who gives his real opinion about Candace. And I think you will be blessed to see it. Let's go.
Oh, the woman that was in this footage, guys. I don't know. What are your ideas here? Why would the FBI not tell us something so evidently crucial to this story that we have a woman that's involved? What does she look like? How old is she?
It's you.
I obviously did the sensible thing, right? I reached out to Phil Lyman because it's his family, and I asked him whether or not he would be willing to track down this footage for me. And he's not happy with me. He's angry. I mean, he said really not nice things to me. He started asking me if I had something to do with the shooting. Okay. And
I'm with him.
He basically just stayed focused and said, Phil, okay, we showed your footage. He's very upset about cousin versus nephew thing. I said, it's all irrelevant. If you're saying you actually want to help us catch the killer, right? If that's really where your heart was, if that's really why you injected yourself so much into this story, why wouldn't you, knowing how deeply I care about this, walk over while you're in the neighborhood popping by, walk over to your aunt, grandma, cousins, I don't care whose house, and say, hey, you said there was an accomplice, that there was a woman, okay, that might have been an accomplice. Do you mind letting me see the raw footage so that I can hand it over to Candace? In fact, how about just giving me any of the footage that your family rushed to give to TMZ? Why did they rush to give it to TMZ? By the way, you definitely were you said you were at your cousin's house and that you hadn't seen the footage. You were watching it live with Kayleigh McEnany on Fox News. That's what you said during that segment, right? This is the first time I'm seeing this footage. So apparently your cousin, close enough to go to their house, but your cousin decides to give the footage to TMZ before you can even see it. Okay, maybe the feds gave it. That's another assumption. That's the only two options. Either your cousin gave it to TMZ or the feds gave a portion of it to TMZ, which begs the question, why were we not told about the woman? Who was the woman? We should now all be putting a lot of pressure on the FBI to make a statement about why the woman who handed over her footage, I've now twice confirmed,
I'm muted. Why didn't y'all tell me I was muted? How did y'all do that? Man, editor Jason, I'm firing him. How does I was cracking some good jokes too, y'all. Y'all, this woman is sitting here threatening the FBI, talking about she gonna put pressure on the FBI. Please put FBI in the chat. Please put FBI in the chat because we gotta help them out. We gotta help them out just like I need help to not put myself on mute. What in the world? What kind of production is this, man? Am I not getting paid better by APAC? Good gracious, man. Mossad is not going to be happy with me if I'm sitting there muting myself. Put FBI in the chat. This is ridiculous. This chick is talking about she is going to put pressure. I got to back that up because that was funny. Candace, you are a gem of comedy. I don't know if you missed your calling, but she could have been on the Queens of Comedy band back in the day because she's funny as all get out. This chick is threatening the FBI now. And don't forget the time she says she'll take over the FBI's investigation. Let's go.
Their house, but your cousin decides to give the footage to TMZ before you can even see it. Okay, maybe the feds gave it. That's another assumption. That's the only two options. Either your cousin gave it to TMZ or the feds gave a portion of it to TMZ, which begs the question, why were we not told about the woman? Who was the woman? We should now all be putting a lot of pressure on the FBI to make a statement about why the woman who handed over her footage, I've now twice confirmed in her own mouth and from a source that there was a lady in that footage with the shooter. So why are they worried about that being caught on camera? Oh, sorry, didn't realize you were filming. What's that about? It's like everybody knows something that I don't know. And I want to be in the know on what happened to Charlie Kirk on 9/10.
Well, Candace, you can't be in the know. I didn't mute myself this time, y'all. Candace, you can't be in the know. You know why you can't be in the know, Candace? It's real simple.
I don't know, but I know. You know? I don't know, but I know.
You can't be in the know because you're not in the know.
Oh, come on now, dog. Come on, man.
Let's keep it going. Let's have some fun. Let's go.
So, do you have any tips pertaining to who the woman was that was caught? Please let me know. I am going to try again to reach out to this family since I don't think that Phil Lyman wants to assist me, doesn't like me. That's fine. I wonder if he likes truth, if he likes trying to solve this thing. That would be great as well. If he doesn't want to talk to me, I'm happy to put him in touch with another journalist. But if you know,
but you're not a journalist.
Like to reach out to us, please do. You reach out to us on social media, and I please ask again that you guys reserve not sending us videos and TikToks and links, but rather if you have information, please use tips@CandaceOwens.com. I love you all, and I love that the whole world wants to know what happened, and I'm grateful for that. But there's only so much data that an inbox can take, and we might have to just make a second line. Is what I think we should do. Skylar, we should talk about that. Okay, now we turn our attention back to the mysterious individual that is
So this is allegedly investigative journalism. This is what it's been dumbed down to, investigative journalism. Just throwing out questions, hypotheticals. She knows no facts, but she puts it out there. Why not spend the time to actually do the legwork on your own and find out before you get on camera and say, hey, I found this woman. She had the video evidence of the three-legged goat walking down the street backwards and breakdancing, and we were able to talk to the lady about it. Why put it out there as a speculation, doxing people, putting their houses in peril, only to say, I don't really have any information. And nothing come of it. Nothing comes of it. This is malpractice. And again, she didn't go to school for journalism. Candace is not classically trained as a journalist. When we get done, I'm going to bring on a real journalist with the credentials, with the bona fides, and he's going to explain what journalism actually is. Stay tuned after this. But Candace is not a journalist. At very best, she's a commentator. And at worst, she's a muckraker.
Next to Shaner, right? We discovered that one person was from Austria. And then we're going, who's this goth kid? That Phil has been clear he does not know him. Phil Lyman does not know this individual. Could I help identify him? I told you it was unusual that our inbox wasn't instantly flooded with people telling us exactly who it was. Well, then we did get another hit on him, and a handful of you similarly found the same person that we did, a person going by the name Robbie Hild, who was allegedly from Washington. Now, let me tell you why I don't think this is his true identity, okay? Because if this was just some kid who grew up in Washington, went to school in Utah, my inbox would be flooded with that name. It's not, okay? It's simply not. Oddly, no one has come forward to claim that they know Robbie Hild. They're all just saying, I got a hit. This might be him. No one is saying they went to school with him. This is a young college student. He's allegedly, like I said, from Washington State. And no one personally can say, I know this person. How could that be? How could that be?
Easy.
Something. So I'm starting to get a hunch about things, and we're going to go more deeply into this.
One day, I think we're going to just collapse. We're just going to collapse all of Candace's statements, all of her feel statements down. Hunch, spidey senses, feeling, my thought, all that my gut, all that kind of stuff. Maybe we'll just put that together into just like a huge montage. This is ridiculous. Another hunch. Another one.
Tomorrow, but many of you guys have been sending those clues about the Azov battalion, about Ukrainian, Russian people that were coming into Utah. There seems to be some organized movement, people that are being given new identities. Actually,
Yo, now the Ukrainian Russians are catching strays? We need to do a catch strays scorecard. I'm trying not to be super petty and make a Candace Owens bingo board, but I might do it next time because I can't say that I'm not super petty. But now the Russians are catching strays. Dude, the Russian Ukrainian, she done already said Polish people, the Ninja Turtles. Who else, man? Everybody's catching strays. Y'all, man, we got to press F for duck. Everybody's catching strays. Duck down. FBI catching strays. Phil Lyman, shout out to Phil. He catching strays. His poor nephew getting strays. A random person walking in the woods is catching strays. Everybody. The Phoenix Suns. This is comical. The fact that people are actually tuning in as if this is serious is going to be studied by science. That's why we deserve a meteorite, for real. That's why the aliens will not come and speak to us, because we are actually failing. I personally believe that Candace Owens is an alien IQ test. And the aliens, I'm being silly, y'all. I'm being funny. I don't believe in aliens. The aliens have sent Candace Owens as like an IQ test. And because too many people actually listen to her, the aliens said they are going to keep on flying by. They said they're not going to even study us. Okay.
Actually, one person wrote to us and told us that UVU in and of itself as a campus has an unbelievable amount of dedication. I mean, even the president, I'm blanking on her name, like majored in Soviet studies. Like they have a direct pipeline from Russia to America. It's very interesting. And yes, it is true. It is a fact that Tyler Robinson, we can't confirm that this is Mike Mitchell, but there are old photos of Tyler Robinson when he's a lot younger visiting his uncle Mikey, okay? His uncle Mikey, who is working with the Ukrainian Azov battalion. Okay, he's a military man. And that gets really interesting when I start to combine all of the aspects of this case. And again, we are still in theory territory, but I feel like we are I'm starting to get stronger than a theory and more of a hunch that this was a military operation and people that executed this are actually from
wait. Y'all, we're failing the IQ test, y'all. We really are, man. This is an intergalactic multiverse IQ test, man, to determine if we can go on to the next level in the multiverse. And we're failing, man. We got Candace over here running with a hunch. You know, her gut is telling her, man, she went to an extra Pilates class. Her gut is feeling some kind of way because she had some boba tea after Pilates, and her gut is telling her something, man. She is sitting there saying, Russian military, man. Please. Oh, my word. Don't say muted again. Oh, man, you made my heart stop. Don't do that to me, man. Almost killed me. Like, I cannot believe that. This is... I gotta let it go, man. Just go.
And when you look at the aspects of the UVU case and their strong ties to that region, things get really interesting. When you look at UVU campus and their strong ties to the CIA, things start to get really interesting, right? And I think this is a path that needs to be pursued, that these people have different identities and that they are perhaps all from overseas. And it turns out that there have been, the New York Times has reported on Russian Ukrainian spies that are building new lives for themselves with new IDs in America, in Brazil. Essentially, what we're talking about are terrorist cells. I believe that. I believe that with the Ukrainian war, okay? And they always hack us emotionally. Oh, we need to have open borders. It allows them to get in people that are perhaps completely insane and deranged, and they are, in fact, raising little militants, and they're executing these programs. And
So Candace would rather theorize that Ukrainian Russian terror cells are coming in through Utah rather than call out Muslims terror cells. I just want to know. I know we just... This woman is not serious. Yo, she is so unserious. She might as well have a bozo nose on and a big old clown wig. She is so unserious. There is no way in the world you want me to go and look at Ukrainians. I'm wondering if she's going to bring up the Ukrainian girl that died in the train car up in Charlotte. I wonder if she's going to bring her in to it as well. This woman is so unserious. Is it possible, Candace, to be serious in 2025? In the year of our Lord, 2025, can you be remotely serious? You want me to believe in Russian terror cells because the president of UVU studied Russian, but I'm not supposed to see what's going on in Minneapolis and Minnesota and Detroit and Dearborn as a complete and utter infiltration and takeover. I'm not supposed to see that. I'm supposed to close my eyes. Girl, if you don't sit your unserious self down. Okay, I'm going to make it through this video. This woman is so unserious. This is crazy.
tell you, if this is correct, if this is sort of like a neo-Bolshevik militant tribe, then we need to be concerned. And spiritually, I can tell you how I feel spiritually.
Let me tell you, right, I don't take any spiritual advice from anybody. Okay, I'm done. I'm done. I'm sorry. Let me just stop.
I've been pleading with you guys to get your kids out of these schools. I am telling you that something very dark is going on, and I'm going to continue to stress to you that you need to take your children out of school. Homeschool your children. There is something dark that I am perceiving that is happening, not just in public schools, but in private schools as well, okay? Why our kids had to go. We couldn't get basic answers about somebody that had kind of fallen through the cracks and was posting Polish underground symbols. Her parent was posting Polish underground symbols, and I realized something was wrong. Something was off. I'm showing you this. This is like one headline, and this is translated from Russian, by the way.
Do you notice she never showed us those pictures of the Polish underground beekeepers society? She never showed us that. Never. So we don't know what it is that she saw that caused her to go to the school. Maybe when we see it, we would go to the school too and say the same thing. But she never shows it. Y'all, we're failing. We're failing a test. This is an IQ test, and we're failing. We're failing.
So the English here isn't perfect, but it is telling about White Lotus sect of all things. For those of you that followed the Becoming Brigitte series and things that we have spoken about this White Lotus idea, it's essentially they're training fighters, and that this has been declassified, and that they have these regional organizations, these all Ukrainian organizations, and that's exactly what it sounds like, that they're training fighters, that it's really dangerous. And my suspicion is that this is happening right here in America. It would make sense that there is global communication if they want to take somebody out. And it is also a fact, by the way, that Charlie was on a hit list. I also was on the hit list. Tucker was on the hit list. And actually, I forgot the name of the individual that worked for Alex Jones who got killed, but he was similarly on a Ukrainian hit list. It's something that I think should be explored a little bit further. And like I said, we're going to go deeper on that topic.
So not Muslims, but some random Ukrainian headline that she just showed up on the screen that wasn't even translated. We're supposed to duck and dodge and take our kids out of school and homeschool our kids because of this. Okay. All right. Okay. A Ukrainian hit list is crazy work. That's nasty, crazy work. Ukrainian hit list. What does MT say? MT said doxing is okay when Candy does it. The right truly isn't much better than the left, just less bloodthirsty. But the same hypocrisy, zero principles. I'm going to argue, I'm going to only push back. Thank you for the $5 super. This is leftist behavior, though. This is not right-leaning behavior. And Candace is not behaving. This is some extra kind of behavior. Wait, Candace just said that the B thing was from a parent. That's not what she said in the original video. I'm somewhat adjacent to an employee. That's all I'm saying. The story keeps evolving. I bet you if we kept asking her, Taylor, thank you so much for the comment. I bet you if we kept asking her, we'd get something new. But she's about truth. Because remember, y'all, just in case you forgot.
But I don't like little lies. When there is one lie, there's 20.
Just so you don't forget. Wait, do I got another? Oh, I got another. I forgot. I got another. I don't know. No, wait, this is an older one.
I don't know, no, but I know. Okay. I don't know, no, but I know. It makes sense.
All right, let's get this done. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm not.
We'll actually do that tomorrow, and we'll bring in the aspects and show you whether or not, Uncle Mikey could be Mike Mitchell. Could he be the detective? But I'm just seeing these recurring themes of the military. For whatever reason, I'm also seeing a recurring theme of child abuse and a recurring theme of people who appear to have changed their name and that are operating in the shadows, and something is not right. Again, a theory that is now turning into a very strong hunch. More on that tomorrow. First, I want to tell you guys about Goldco, because according to reports, Fed Chair Jerome Powell
gotta run that ad read. Gotta make sure you get the ad read while I'm pursuing the life of my deceased friend. If you didn't see it earlier today, I dropped a video where I dropped my own theory. I have a theory about why Candace is behaving like this. If the mods could drop it in the link in the chat. It's just a little short thought experiment. I was just kind of playing around and just giving you my thought about why I believe Candace is behaving like this. And I'd love to hear what y'all think. I've heard from several of you all. I think I got 4 emails from you all at the current moment, and several others that say, Jason, you were cooking with that one. And I appreciate it, though, for real. This is embarrassing. I'm going to have to come up with another. I think I have another theory as well. Okay, here's the other theory. Candace's staff, they secretly hate her. They hate her. And what they're doing, because she's reading a teleprompter, what they're doing is they're putting crazy stuff on the teleprompter and she just reads it. And so they're trying to see, can they make her say some of the most ridiculous stuff from the teleprompter? So they're just putting it up on the teleprompter and she's just going to town. So that's my other theory. Like they hate her because nobody who cares about you would let you get up here and say some of this stuff. And nobody. They just hate her and they're trying to make her look crazy. Her staff is against her. I don't know how that works. Okay, wait, we're done.
Idea that you might share a perspective that Jews are controlling the media, that would be considered anti-Semitic. You would be called a Jew hater. Fast forward to 2025, and Bibi Netanyahu is now hosting an on-camera meeting with American social media influencers to talk about how they are going to shape U.S. opinion. I honestly, with my eyes, I was going, this can't be real. Like they're not even hiding it anymore, right? It's like first it was a conspiracy theory. Now it's like, here's what we're gonna do, okay? And what are we gonna do? How are we gonna beat out all of these independent voices who are winning because they're telling the truth? So Deborah Lee asked Bibi Netanyahu specifically about Charlie Kirk's assassination and the potential loss of evangelical support for the state of Israel because of it, which, by the way, is going to be the consequence of this. It will be the consequence of this because they lied after he died and it pissed me off. Okay. Take a listen to what Deborah asks.
First of all, Candace isn't an evangelical. Candace is not a Christian. Candace, you being peed off matters none to any of us. We don't care. We really don't. Your opinion matters none to us whatsoever. So you being upset about something, you saying it peed me off. And I do want y'all to pay attention to how much she inserts herself into these narratives, how much she is the, dare I say, the main character of these stories. The punchline is Candace. That is kind of problematic, but we'll talk about that when we bring Joe on later on. But Candace, no, we as Christians don't care what you think. You are the tares. You're not the wheat. Man, we don't care what you think. We know that you are lost in your sins, dead in your trespasses and sins. That's what we know. So we don't really care what you think. To be 100% honest with you. Just being honest with you. All right, bring this back in, Jason. Let's go. Bada boom.
So something I would like to raise, which was actually my first published paper, was how you and the Likud party are cut from the same ideological cloth as Trump and the GOP in America. And so specifically with Charlie Kirk's assassination, who was a big mentor of mine, who's my first mentor in the space, evangelicals, from all my research, evangelicals are the reason that Israel has been supported in public sphere outside of just Jews. So with Charlie's assassination and with the kind of trajectory that we see with like Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson, I guess I'm curious about what's another game plan if we lose evangelical support for the state of Israel. What's our backup plan to be strong, like outside of the diaspora?
Okay. First off,
That's a great question. That's a fantastic question. The problem is our support or our affection toward Israel is not rooted in Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson, and it wasn't rooted in Charlie Kirk. It's whether or not you believe that these people have the right to do whatever they're going to do, you let them do that. That has nothing to do with any of these people. So though I thought it was a good question, I wouldn't mind hearing what Netanyahu said, but we'll let Candace tease it out because she's got the yellow shirt on. Let's go.
I don't know why it's always me and Tucker Carlson. Why? Why is it always Tucker Carlson?
Because you're the lunatics.
Like, can it be anybody else? It's like, what? We have nothing to do with one another. I've
Y'all are
been on the show
lunatics.
twice on his independent show. I just love Tucker. I do. I'm a fan. I'm not gonna lie. But I feel like they're starting to think we're the same person. Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens. Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens over and over again.
Because you're lunatics. Because you're lunatics. That's why. That's why they say that.
His response, because prepare yourself. What he is saying is that they are about to launch a psychological war on Americans. Take a listen to what he says.
Christian influencers. Okay. He said, we talked about the woke right. And he said, I call it the woke Reich. That's a brilliant. The woke right, because these people, you know, they're not any different from the woke left. I mean, they're insane. They're but they're actually meeting on some of the things. And what we have to do is we have to secure that part of the base of our support in the United States. That is being challenged systematically. A lot of this is done with money. Money of NGOs, vast. Money of governments, vaster. Okay? We have to fight back. How do we fight back? Our influencers. I think you should also talk to them if you have a chance. To that community, they're very important. And secondly, we're going to have to use the tools of battle. You know, the weapons change over time. You can't fight today with swords. That doesn't work very well. Okay, and you can't fight with cavalry. That doesn't work very well. And you have these new things, you know, like drones, things like that. I won't get into that. But we have to fight with the weapons that apply to the battlefield in which we're engaged. And the most important ones are the social media. And the most important purchase that is going on right now is class. TikTok. TikTok. Number one. And I hope it goes through because it can be consequential. And the other one, what's the other one? That's most important. X. That's very good. And, you know, so we have to talk to Elon. He's not an enemy. He's a friend. We should talk to him. Now, if we can get those two things, we get a lot. And I could go on other things, but that's not the point right now. We have to fight the fight. Okay? To give direction to the Jewish people and give direction to our non-Jewish friends or those who could be our Jewish our friends. Are we going to succeed with everyone? No. Will there be a strong counterpoint? Yes.
Okay, so like we're allowed to say Israel controls the media now. Okay, I think we're like.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Does Candace realize if she had addressed the letter and the substance of Charlie Kirk's letter to Bibi Netanyahu, that she would have already talked about this? Because she's going to talk about it. That's exactly what was in the letter. Bibi definitely heard what he said. He's talking about what Charlie put in that letter. So she's treating it as if this is some new theory. Charlie literally said it. Now, if you want to argue whether or not Charlie said it, go ahead and do that thing. Arguing yourself. Nobody cares. But Candace, if you had addressed the letter, you would have actually known that this is what they're talking about. But again, if you had refuted the letter and said that Bibi Netanyahu was full of hot air, you could have dropped your real receipts. But there's never been receipts. Just something to think about.
That's just like on camera. Now, there will be no dispute about this. The fact that you have a foreign leader, it's incredible. You have a foreign leader who is sitting up there saying that he wants his agents, he needs the deal to go through, which, by the way, let's call out Donald Trump right now. Okay, all of the acting. We don't want China. We don't want China to own TikTok, and I'm worried about your data. No, you wanted to hand it over to your Zionist friends. Okay, it was all a mirage. Okay, it was all theater. Donald Trump has sold us out to Israel once again. Okay, so he's saying, I want the deal to go through, and we know who's a part of that deal. It's Larry Ellison, who has he's very clear about the fact that he's an agent of Israel. Andreessen Horowitz, the son of David Horowitz, from which all of the connections, PragerU, I can tell you the stories, PragerU, David Horowitz Foundation, and Ben Shapiro, all of them related in their beginnings in Los Angeles. So he's basically saying, we need to take over TikTok because what are they going to do? What they've already done. They're going to censor speech. The reason that they got on board, just like the ADL spokesperson said when he was caught on the mic, was like, we need to do something about TikTok. And now they're doing the thing, right? They are going to take over TikTok and they're going to ban your speech. It's happening right now. The second that CEO who said she was a proud Zionist, or maybe she wasn't the CEO, but one of the executives there that they installed immediately after, she said she was a proud Zionist and just spent time in Israel. We saw instantly that our content was getting strikes. You can't say anything bad right now about Israel on TikTok. And this is because it's what Bibi Netanyahu has willed, right? They want to censor speech, which was something that Charlie was very worried about. He was very worried about what Israel was doing to come inward on speech. And I have those text messages with him. And
then show them.
Yeah, so that's...
Show the text messages. If you say that you have the text messages, Candace, show the text messages. Unredacted, except for the phone number, show the text messages. If that is in fact true. I'm just saying. Show them. Like, to say, in a moment when we pull up Joe Pags, you're going to hear a real journalist talk about this exact foolishness that she does, and you'll say, there you go. So everybody who had a problem with the way that she does this stuff, you'll realize exactly what the problem is. When we have a real journalist talk about this thing. Okay, I'm done.
Actually happening. We are going to be, we're going to become subject to a psychological operation. This is what they do. You can see it on X. There's all of these, like, I call them military bots, and they're just like sock puppets who just say wonderful things about Israel all the time. You can see them in my comments. They just like post the Israel flag over and over and over again. And that's what they want to subject Americans to. And they think that that is going to, in the long run, bring people over to their side. It's the exact opposite, obviously. Okay. It's so dumb to think. It's like, have you even gone through basic parenting 101? You're going to tell these people that they are going to be forced to like and support your country. They're most certainly not going to. Instead, they're going to see you as what you are, which is problematic. You have no business as a foreign leader speaking publicly about how you're planning to take over social media sites in America, because opinion against your country has rightfully shifted, okay? Because opinion has rightfully shifted against your country on the basis of your behavior, right? Like Charlie said, on the basis of your behavior.
Where did Charlie say that?
You fall into
Where did Charlie say that? On the basis of your behavior. Where did Charlie say that? It better not have been in that letter that you still haven't addressed. That's all I'm saying.
The stereotypes wouldn't exist if you didn't behave this way. That's the reality. You're on camera. You have zero shame in saying this. You could have said anything there, right? Like a person would say, wow, we want to get out the truth. We want to be better people. We want to commit ourselves to not killing hundreds of thousands of children. And I think that people will start to like us again. He's like, no, we just need to crush them. We need to crush speech by controlling speech in America. And that's what the plan is. Look no further than this random attack that Megyn Kelly is going through, okay? For no reason at all. And I hate to say this, but I was laughing reading Konstantin Kissin's tweets and what they were saying to her, because I lived it. I lived what Megyn Kelly's going through. I lived what Charlie was going through, where suddenly you realize people that are pretending to be your friends, they're like, I'm your friend, I care about you, are actually like agents. And that's why I say they're Mr. Smith from The Matrix, and they're real close to ruining your life if you don't do what they want, okay? So for no reason at all, I'll tell you how this transpired. Megyn Kelly tweeted her episode and said, listen to Charlie in his own words about what he was going through. And for whatever reason, Florida Dad, which is one of these like Zio bot accounts that constantly tweets in favor of Israel, wrote this to Megyn. We can pull this up. He writes, if you can't separate yourself from Candace Owens, many of us are going to separate ourselves from you. She didn't mention anything about me. He says, we do not have to align with everyone that claims to be of the right when their motives and history are as shady as hers. Megyn Kelly and I have no attachment. So the idea that he's demanding that she make a statement against me is insane. She replies, she holds the line. She says, look at this. No, I have no obligation to, quote unquote, separate myself from anyone. I run my own media company and my own show. That show is where I express my own opinions, and I will decide what and what not to opine on. If you need me to condemn Candace or Tucker for their opinions in order to listen to me, then I may not be for you. He's a close friend, and she is under enough pressure without gratuitous shots from me. My fight is with the left, not these two. Like, kudos to Megyn Kelly. Like, what? And yes, she is friends with Tucker. They've been friends for a very long time. And yeah, I'm kind of taking a lot of bullets right now, so I thank you, Megyn.
What did Megyn put up that brought Florida Dad into the chat? Can I raise the volume? I will try. It doesn't make sense. That's as loud as it gets. Sorry. Very interesting. Okay, let's get done.
For not just taking a gratuitous swipe because I'm breathing over here, but it's not enough. So then they bring the other agent, Constant Kissin, which, by the way, there's going to be a day where I just release everybody's family genealogy. His is astonishing. But these are all agents of Israel. Let's be very clear. Constant Kissin then jumps in and says, here's a problem. He's a free speech warrior, Constant Kissin. The problem with this approach, which many on the right are taking, is that this is exactly how the left allowed in its own extremists, we're extremists, to first flourish and then to become the face of the entire movement. If you agree with Candace and Tucker, people will respect that. But to many of us, their behavior is so extreme and so deranged that the idea that it can be simply ignored because your fight is quote unquote with the left doesn't wash. You have always been a great, principled, truth-seeking journalist, so to many of your admirers like me, the question might be, if you agree with them, fine. But if you don't, why isn't your fight with them? This is almost verbatim. It's like scary to me because I'm like, this is like military training. Almost verbatim, a text message that I received from Marissa Streit when I like retweeted Max Blumenthal, I think once, when he said something that I totally agreed with, and then like all the agents, like Dave Rubin, all them are like, don't you see what you did? And they make you think you're going crazy, but they kind of pretend to be your friend, and you're like, what did I do wrong? Like I just said genocide is always wrong. I just retweeted Max Blumenthal, something he said that was sensible. And they come in and they're like, I understand what you're doing. I'm your friend. But I worry that other people are gonna see what you're doing and not understand. And it just, I want you to be okay, because we're just wondering, like, we all agree that that's bad, right? So why don't you just say what I'm telling you to say, Meg, or you're gonna get it. We're gonna ruin your effing life. That's the subtext, Meg. That is the subtext, Megyn. I can promise you that. I lived it. There's no halfway with these people. I'm telling you, there's no halfway. She didn't do anything. She shared her episode and said, if you want to hear Charlie Kirk in his own words, here it is. That is literally what they are responding to. And now they're going to pretend to be her friend. So she responds to him. And she says, the more one insists that I say what one demands me to, the more committed I get in my refusal. This was Charlie. He was like, I'm done. I'm just done. I'm digging my heels in because they know what this is. Okay, Megyn is an adult. She's also quite brilliant. She's not going to fall for this, should I call it babble, right? Constant Kissin. And you're sitting here trying to, I love you so much. It's like trying to manipulate a toddler. She's not stupid. And he says, I demand nothing of you. And in coming from a position of great respect, I'm simply asking why it is that you don't believe that lies told by prominent people on the right shouldn't be challenged in the way that we all challenge lies told by people on the left. And she said, your response proves the opposite of what it purports to. She sees right through him. Of course she does, because she's not a child, okay? This is how the agents work. They pretend to be your friend. And I'm telling you, if she doesn't buck, because that's what they want, we will whip you and you will buck. And you will buck by making a strong statement against Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson when we demand it. Then they will send the next layer, which is a full-blown press attack. The press that they do not control, by the way. They do not control the press. That's anti-Semitic. I want to be very clear. They don't control it, but they will control it when they come after her if she doesn't do what they say. Watch that space, you guys. Watch that space. Okay, I want to make sure that I get to some of your comments because a lot of you guys have been writing in. I first want to throw it to Pure Talk, because our society works because of the freedoms guaranteed by the First Amendment. Everyday Americans should be.
All right, I was trying to find where Megyn Kelly's tweet was but I can't find the actual tweet. I admit I'm terrible at Twitter or X, whatever it's called. I don't see where this conversation is. So I don't know if she deleted it or maybe it's somewhere buried down. I don't see it. So anyway, please forgive me. Okay, I'm just reading through I'm trying to find it. I don't see where it is. But anyway, I don't see what the problem is, but Candace, she's there, she lives there. That's her thing. She's gonna every episode, every sentence is punctuated with Judaism, somehow or another Israel. She has no smoke for Muslims, no smoke for the Roman Catholic Church, no smoke for anything else except it's always Muslims. Always. I mean, always Israel, which is kind of weird. That's kind of weird that she approaches it like that. But I do want to say shout out. Thank you so much. What's up, Eric Smith? Good to see you, brother. Thank you so much, brother. Let's get this. Oh, she's back. No, she's not. Okay. I do want to say thank you so much for the very kind supers. Let me just pause Candace real quick.
Skincare.
She got the skincare. Maybe I need some skincare. All right. I agree, MT says, thank you for the $5, but she's one of the biggest figures on the right. The same people that say that the left should police itself are eating donuts in the squad car. I do agree with that. And I think many people are calling her out, but maybe I might not be understanding fully what it is that you want them to do. But I do think people are calling Candace out and recognizing that she's problematic for a lot of reasons, especially like her, dare I say, Israel derangement syndrome. Careful, guys. She sees reoccurring themes. Reminds me of cold reading. You know what? That's a very good point. Thank you for the 1790 super. She's like the Whoopi Goldberg's character in Ghost, pretending to be a psychic. Wow, that's a good point. Thank you, Alex. That was right on the money for sure. Another Eric Smith. This is other Eric Smith. It does sound funny though that she is dictating what freedom of speech here. I'm sorry, that he is dictating what freedom of speech is here in the United States. I don't see it as him dictating it. I do see him as wanting to project a better image, but I also believe that the letter from Charlie Kirk is right on the money. So that's what I'm understanding him to be saying. But if I'm misunderstanding you, Eric, thank you for the $5 super. I appreciate you, brother. MT says this. So BB does what Charlie tells him and the Jews are bad. I guess so. I guess. Thank you for the $2. And again, another $2. Making basically ignore the letter. Watch me. I mean, that's a good point. And back to the last $2. Look at this. Megyn Kelly, and you'll find it. Thank you so much, MT. Let me get back to Candace. Let's finish up what she's talking about. Let's go.
Dominated by foreign brands. Nimi formulates and produces.
Okay, so she's talking about her skincare line. Got to do that ad read. Don't let the ad read waste that time for sure. I don't know. I hope not. Yeah. And Candace is not. Candace is our proof and evidence of that, Bonnie, for sure. I think she's still reading. I will give them credit, though. When they do ad read, they put the little ad thing on the bottom so you can kind of tell. And they're done.
All right, guys, what is on your mind? I always want to get in trouble in the comment section for some
What
reason.
about the letter? The letter's on our mind.
Email that came in because Turning Point had the USU event last night. They went back to Utah and returned, made a big splash about that. And this person attended and wrote this to me. It reads, Dear Candace, tonight, which is September 30th, 2025, several friends and myself attended the TPUSA event at Utah State University. There was full agreement that all were disappointed. The event was scripted, the allowance of open dialogue was absent, and the entire presentation lacked authenticity. I'm happy to answer any questions about specifics, but if this is how TPUSA is going to proceed, then it will not be successful. I fully agree with you. That if this is the vibe that we're getting and catching right now, they're not going to be successful. Okay, you're never smarter than your audience. I say it over and over again. Everyone perceives that something is not right and we are not getting the truth and they are too mum. And I definitely know, I got received other emails of people saying that they felt that it was very much controlled. But I feel like it gets to a more broader point, which is that nothing that is fake will survive in the long run. Okay. And there's a lot of fakeness and gayness that's happening right now. And yesterday, it's why I just went ahead and took a shot at the beast. I will not allow them to turn Turning Point USA into a company that is shilling for Israel. I have people that are telling me that they're handing out TPUSA faith packets. And like Israel is mentioned 8 times. Someone submitted it to me. I read it. It's ridiculous.
Where is it?
I know who's behind that. I do. And so I don't know where they're going if they're trying to sink Charlie's company. It worked. Turning Point worked because Charlie was authentic. Okay. Whether you agreed with him or not, I can tell you, Charlie authentically, when we started out, loved Israel for the same reasons we went to Israel together. You know, he authentically believed and loved Israel, and then he authentically.
She could pull up a random person email going to TPUSA Utah yesterday, but she can't pull up this salacial TPUSA faith or TP faith packet that she's talking about. She can't pull that up because somebody sent her that, but she can pull up a random email. Okay. That makes perfect sense. Perfect sense.
Was seeing what their tactics were, how they were trying to control speech, and he perceived them to be problematic, and it was their behavior that turned him against them. And the fact that they are just continuing.
The fact that, okay, I know I keep stopping, and please hit the like button if you don't like the fact that I keep stopping. Please forgive me. The fact that this woman keeps talking about Charlie as if they were talking every day, as if, again, it just comes across really odd that the way she talks about this. But isn't it odd that his actual wife, his real rib, the bone of his bone and flesh of his flesh, is running TPUSA, but Candace is dictating how TPUSA will run in the future? Does that not seem odd or peculiar to anybody else but me? Okay. I just find it odd that she approached it like that, as if she is the one running the ship and has the means to do anything. It just seems odd. Shout out to Tina with the $5 super. She just sent me the Megyn Kelly. I'm trying to read it and allow this. Thank you so very much, Tina, for the $5 super. Amazing. And I do have the Megyn Kelly. I'll pull that up in a second. Let's get done with this. I know y'all finished with her.
That behavior now and just trying to pretend that the last part didn't happen, it sickens me. It won't survive unless there is more truth, and we should absolutely demand it. There is a note here from my producer, from Erica Mindel, who is an American Israeli Jewish former IDF soldier currently serving as that's her name, right? Erica Mindel. She is the public policy manager of hate speech, and she's been at TikTok since July of this year. And she's like, yeah, whatever, I'm an IDF soldier. And it's now war, and we own this space. So of course the deal is going to go through if they're already putting IDF soldiers in control of monitoring our speech, which means we only have to get louder, and maybe we'll just choose a different platform in general if this is the direction that they want to go in. Basil Parhas writes, hey, Candace, would you want to debate the more prominent commentators like Ben Shapiro, Brandon Tatum, and PBD? On the topics of Israel, Mossad, and Palestine, they all have hinted and danced around calling you anti-Jewish, genetically speaking, and excessive in their videos. I would debate PBD. I would debate Ben Shapiro. I wouldn't debate Brandon Tatum because I love Brandon Tatum like a brother. Nobody wins in that scenario. I've just known him. Like, I know Brandon. I came up with him and Charlie, and I just know him as like a human being. And there are some things that to me are just like are bigger than politics. And so any conversation or debate that I'm going to have with Brandon will be treated in the same way, like the debates that I would have had with Charlie. You know, Charlie and I never threw each other under any buses publicly, and when we did disagree, we had those disagreements privately. And so I would say the same about Brandon Tatum, and I hope that clarifies. A lot of people were asking me about Brandon. He has been there for me. He's been there for my family. I see him as a human and not a political opponent. So that's my honest truth there. Rachel Day says, is it me or is it strange that not a single security guard pulled a gun once shots rang out? I am praying for you, Candace, and I am grateful for this reporting. We cannot claim ignorance here. Virtual hug from a homeschool mom. Just started the homeschooling thing this week. They're adorable. Yes, I think it is strange, actually. I thought about that after the fact, and they seem to know that not more was coming. Now, you could also, if we're being charitable, say that you're just so overwhelmed and you jump and you just are trying to save Charlie, but you would think that one person would have been guarding, holding a gun, especially if you're trained to do these things and the amount of money that they were making off of Charlie, because Charlie ended up buying, Turning Point USA ended up taking on that security firm. You're kind of not the person that's allowed to freak out in those situations, and a lot of mistakes were made, and a lot of things have not been explained. The Menagerie by Drea Lee writes, one of Tyler Robinson's lawyers, Michael Burt, previously represented Richard Ramirez, a.k.a. the Night Stalker. Ramirez was in the same jail as Sean Penn in 1987, who was serving 33 days. How do you feel about Tyler's legal team? I've not explored that. I have been so hyper focused. People, I know you guys have been like, have you seen this?
She trying to get him off. That's what she's trying to do. She's on his defense team. She is trying to muddy the water and get him off. That's what it is. She's her job, and she's doing it masterfully, is to cast reasonable doubt, and recklessly doing so, because you can't do it like she's been doing it in a court of law. You can't do it like this. So she's just doing it willy-nilly. I do want to go back to something that she said about debating people. I don't know. It just seems odd that she said, I see him as a human. Well, what do you see the other people that you would debate as? I see Candace as a human, one who's lost in her sins and trespasses, in rebellion against God, one who needs Christ. I see her as a human. Even though I disagree with her on a lot of stuff, I don't see her as less than a human. Why do you see somebody that you debate with as not human? She said human. Now, she could have said, I see him as my brother. I see him as the closest friend possible. She could have said that, but she said human specifically and said it 3 distinct times. So why is it that you see him as human, but you don't see me as a human? That just seems really odd. Just odd. We're almost
Have you
done.
seen that? I want to solve who did this, right? And I want to do it in a way that makes sense to me. I'm a timeline person. I'm very good at gathering data and intel, vetting that information that I'm getting and sharing it with the public in a way that they can digest. There's a lot of different rabbit holes that should be chased. That's definitely one of them. But my main focus right now is trying to figure out who else was involved on that day. Who is the lady that was in that photo? Marzi writes, this just in, the FBI.
Wait, hold on. Wait. Did she just say the lady was in a photo? Where's the photo, Candace? This is what I'm saying. This is not journalism. If you are Candy, come on up here to the front of the church. Candaspiracy is not a journalist. She's not. I'm not a journalist. I'm not pretending like I am. I am a commentator. I'm an entertainer at best. I'm telling jokes and keeping you entertained. She is not a journalist. She's not. You don't do what she's doing. Where's the evidence of what you're saying, ma'am? Or you don't say it. Finish this up, Jason. Let's go.
I just cut ties with the ADL after Turning Point USA criticism. They share a building. Just FBI and ADL share a building. They're one and the same. I hope you guys know that. They share a building, I think, in Connecticut. Also, Israel is taking over ExpressVPN and other VPN websites. I always had a conspiracy about that. I used to read ads for them, ExpressVPN, when I was working for Daily Wire. And in back of my mind, I was like, it would make sense that they would train us to actually filter. There's so much data. So they're like, actually, why don't you pretend that this VPN hides things, and so that we know exactly where to look? And once I found that it was started by an Israeli billionaire, I was like, yeah, no, that's going to be a spying thing. That's how I felt, at least. I was like, they're just going to see what you want to hide and go straight there. So you're basically taking on the process of filtering for them. That's my conspiracy theory, one of many that I have, as you guys know, because you listen to the show.
Wait.
Lily writes, first, they made a false statement about Candace not being friends with Charlie. They pushed through their minions in the media. Now they planted a fake letter in the same New York Post and their minions. Candace must be up to something. Yeah, I know who had access to Charlie's laptop, and I have questions about that, but I'm going to wait for the financial report to come out, which I'm not handling. And I got question marks about a couple of people over at Turning Point USA. And yeah, I think we should definitely be speaking about these shady pastors. I hope this is the year of the shady pastor. After Operation Mocking Pastor, learning why they can say, oh, we don't take money from Israel, but they take money from an agent of Israel or an organization like the International Fellowship of Christian and Jews, which if you go to their website, it's basically like, hey, Christians, here's what you can do for Jews. There's nothing that's spoken about what Christians are going through. And they flood money into that, and they get you to say that it's like a fellowship program, but then they have you like gathering pastors and paying off people. I mean, it's an ugly business. And I think it's about to all get exposed. I think it was a bad idea to kill Charlie Kirk. That's what I think. I think the devil overplayed his hand, because that's what the devil does. The devil is arrogant. The devil has no friends. I remind people that the devil is an orphan. And what I mean by that is if you pledge allegiance to the devil, just so you know, he will turn on you too. Okay.
I guess you would
Be
know.
as useful to him as you are an idiot to him. If you're willing to do his bidding, he
Wow.
will play ball. And as soon as you are not, he does not care about you. You mean nothing to him. You are dealing with a true psychopathic individual who cares about nothing more than their own selfish goals. That's what I believe. Anyways,
Wow.
I want to again remind you guys that we have new merch. Finally,
All right.
so many messages.
I don't care about the merch. Yo, wow. That was, thank you. I was literally thinking that. Wow. So instead of addressing the letter, she's now going to throw shade that somebody had access to Charlie Kirk's laptop. And we know this how. How do we know that this is true? This is embarrassing. Y'all, we are missing an opportunity to pass an IQ test, a collective IQ test. What I'm gonna finish these supers up because I want to bring Joe Pags in because Joe Pags will keep us right. Thank you, Tina. Again, I did find Megyn Kelly. I guess I could read it if y'all want. I don't think it's I don't see really what the big kerfuffle is, if you will. I guess if she saw it and knew that it was already an issue, I guess. I don't see what the problem was. But let me keep going. Piggy Doo, thank you so much for the $2. She says, prediction, Candace converts to Islam within 5 years. I'm gonna say within 2 years. But I agree with you. $2 super from MT. This is Alex. Latest retweet is a dig at her. Okay. Latest retweet. Okay, so let me pull up Alex. And Alex did a retweet. Okay, I think I got it. Okay. I do not like Twitter like that. Don't tell Elon. Please don't tell Elon. I don't like Twitter like that because I feel like I'm not using it correctly. All right, let me pull this in and make sure I can read it and bring this in right here. Okay. Is this the latest retweet? Yeah. 22 hours ago. Let me pull this up so y'all can see it a little bit better. A reliable source tells me Charlie Kirk was about to ban all soup from Michael Knowles prior to his death. Coincidence? I'll wait for TPUSA to drop everything they're doing and refute me on this. They won't because it's true. No soup for Knowles. I don't know why Britta does not want Michael Knowles to have soup. Is there a reason why Michael Knowles can't have soup? Does it make him crazy or something? Well played. Well played. Let's get done with these. Shout out for sure. Charlie did add reads for that ugly business. Which one? The VPN one she was talking about. Can we start a prayer circle for Candace because she's lost? Absolutely. Thank you so much for the $5 super. She's definitely lost, and we do need to pray for her. I do ask that we do. And everyone that we know is lost. Candace is definitely lost. No question, no doubt. Thank you so much, Kristen Mary, for the $5 super. Candace has declared war on the Holy One of Israel. She has already lost. I don't understand this. Again, like, you can believe that Israel is up to some nefariousness, but that doesn't change the fact that you got to go to work tomorrow. Like, where is the balance in that? Like, I don't see Candace complaining about her HOA. I don't see Candace complaining about crime running amok in Tennessee. She lives in Nashville. Nashville is not a really nice place. Memphis is horrible. I don't see her complaining about the stuff that's right at her doorstep. But she wants me to be concerned about something 9 time zones away, but you're not talking about the stuff that's right at the doorstep. Where's that same energy? Shouldn't there be a balance? Like 70% of the energy around my doorstep, 30% for things abroad. Like, is there any kind of balance at all? Not everything is, your whole entire life is directed by people 9 time zones away. Now, sure, they might be mixed up in amongst us as well, but is not God sovereign? Is not your God sovereign, Candace? How is it that your God is not able to still direct and guide your life in the midst of people wanting to do other things? Why is your God not able to do that, Candace? Can you explain that? I just don't see why every sentence needs to be punctuated with Israel. Like it's a doggone punctuation mark. It's really silly. And if somebody says, hey, I don't want to get down with that, I'm not going to roll with that, all of a sudden you're in a tizzy, but I'm worried about my family. I'm taking care of my kids and my wife. I'm worried about the stuff that's right here at my doorstep, which, by the way, scripture teaches me to do. But they don't teach me to be doing all the stuff that you're doing, Candace, just in case you didn't know that. So the fact that all you do is obsess about that, it does get pretty weird. So, wait, what did he say right here? MT said this, with a $2 ad reads for the Fellowship of Jews and Christians. I don't know much about it, so I'm not going to say much about it. I'm not a big fan of those kind of organizations, but I'm going to take your word for it and keep it moving. But I appreciate it, man. Thank you for the $2 super. Let me go ahead, and I've been telling you that I'm going to bring in Joe Pags. And I think
have you heard about the investigation?
Sorry about that. Joe is an excellent commentator, excellent journalist. I used to listen to him a long time ago, and I ran across this today, and I think it would be a blessing. I'm just going to let him explain it out because he really does a wonderful job of breaking it down. So, ladies and gentlemen, no further ado, Joe Pags.
Have you heard about the investigation? My sources say the investigation is journalism. Journalism is investigation, journalist, and my sources say, prove me wrong. That's not journalism at all. Right now, you've got somebody, a very prominent woman, who's out there talking about TPUSA and Charlie Kirk. She's making all the headlines. She's getting millions and millions of views. Would I like to have that many views? Of course, but I'm not doing this because of the views. I'm doing it because when you present yourself as a journalist, you've got to actually show that you know how to do the job. Now, let me give you my bona fides, because I talk about this and we actually joke about it on my radio show. But I've won dozens of awards for excellence in journalism, from the Michigan AP, from the Michigan Association of Broadcasters, from the New York AP. I mean, I'm talking about best live shot, best newscast, best feature, that was in Michigan, best documentary for the Motown 40 that I did. Over and over and over again, I've won all these awards. I did it for a very long time. I was a main news anchor in Saginaw, Flint, Michigan, Kalamazoo, Grand Rapids. I was the morning and noon anchor. I was the main anchor and the news director, managing editor in Lansing, Michigan. I was the main anchor in Albany, Schenectady, Troy, New York. And then I went back into talk radio. I know how to do it. I made my living as a journalist, and I won a lot of awards. That said, the job is not to go out there and make allegations. The job is not to put a microphone in somebody's face and say, why do you keep robbing your neighbor's house? Boom. And, what do you mean? I'm not robbing my neighbor's house. Oh, prove me wrong. You're robbing your neighbor's house. Boom. Well, there's a prominent person who is not a journalist. She is a big-time commentator. She's got a huge following, and she's a great content creator. In fact, I talked to her on my show once. Charlie Kirk actually had her call my show once because he couldn't make it, and he felt obligated. It was very nice of him to have her call in. But she's out there saying, basically, you're robbing your neighbor's house. Prove me wrong. What she's saying is that Charlie Kirk told her, or made it clear to insiders at TPUSA, one or the other, that he was done with the Israel narrative and blah, blah, blah. And that he also was going to bring her back. She claims he was going to bring her back to TPUSA, a place that she left for several different reasons. If you ask Grok or ChatGPT, they're not sure why she left, but it couldn't have been great because she was gone. But suddenly he was going to bring her back. A couple of weeks before he died, he was going to bring her back somehow. And she now challenges the people that she's accusing of hiding this story to come out and prove her wrong. That's not the way it works. Listen, when you're in a newsroom, you get the lead from the assignment editor, or you get the lead from your sources at the police department. You get the lead from somebody calling in from a neighborhood. This is going on. A new business is going up. A crime happened over here. You go out there and you start asking questions. You are not the story. You go out there and ask the question, was there a robbery? Was there a fire? Hey, your new business, what's it going to do? And then you get that information. Now, if there are sources, because you're investigating, okay, you can do that too, you might have to keep them anonymous, but you hear their voice. You see them mosaicked out. You are not the story. The story is never, I am sitting here on the perch of journalism, and I say this happened, and now you have to prove me wrong after I made a bunch of allegations. If this person has information, because she says if TPUSA and everybody involved doesn't come out and say that she's wrong or prove her wrong, and if they say that she's lying, She will then release the information she has, and she's got the video proof. I have an idea. Instead of going through the mechanisms and the machinations of telling somebody that you're accusing of something or that you're alleging something about, or you're asserting something about, instead of telling them, prove me wrong, just release the information. That would be just as big a hit. You're going to get millions and millions of views. Here are the videos proving that what I said about Charlie's true. Here are the videos that because what I say about Israel is true. Here are the videos, here are the text messages that Charlie and I shared. If he was ready to go, don't tell me he only did it over voice. Because I talked to Charlie Kirk since 2018. We were friends professionally. I never spent a lot of time with him. He was on my show 6 times. We communicated via text all the time. We didn't stop and do phone calls. We communicated over text. And he was great. Show me the text messages and stop making allegations and trying to force somebody to jump into what you started. She started this whole mess and now wants people that she's, again, making assertions about to come in and either prove her right or wrong. Why? You've got family members grieving, okay? You've got an organization that's restructuring, trying to make sure that his movement becomes the revolution it should be. You've got people that are busy making sure his show goes on, and TPUSA stops on campus. That continues. They don't need to be bothered with your BS. So either show your work, show your proof, or stop saying it. I get it. You're getting millions and millions of views, and that's very financially good. And you're a great creator. You're somebody who's got a very good brain. Why are you doing this? I don't get it. I don't understand. I mean, she accused Netanyahu of something, so he released the actual letter. That didn't say what she said it said. So I'm confused why this is continuing. And what really boggles my mind, because again, I did it for a living. I'm not saying I'm a journalist. Look at me. I did it. I got paychecks for being a really good journalist. Made a lot of money doing it. Decided I wanted to have an opinion, so I went to talk radio and now talk television and everything else. But what I don't get is why she continues to assert that she knows something and that she's got the information to prove she knows something, but will only release the information that proves she knows something if somebody says that she doesn't know something. What? This person, as talented as she is, and she's young and she's great looking and all that, and she got a great following, could never work for me in a newsroom. Ever. Ever. I don't understand why you do this. Don't even give the family and the organization time to get its footing back before you start making crazy assertions that you haven't backed up at all. And again, as a journalist, you never say, well, prove me wrong. Prove that I'm a liar. I'll release the video. Release them now. Release the text messages now. Release the phone calls now. Release the videos now. Release everything now, and then what you say is above reproach. And it does blow my mind that so many people look at this person and say, she's doing the deep dive that we all want. You just believe the narrative that's given to you. People have actually alleged that I'm being paid off by Israel, the IDF, or Bibi Netanyahu. That's how stupid this whole thing is. To take a breath, realize that I am open to hearing that something more happened than what we're being told about the official narrative on what happened to Charlie Kirk. I'm open to that. But to allege that you know something completely different and you're making all these connections that you're not willing to prove, unless somebody calls you a liar, is unjournalistic and it's unfair. And I think it's a little bit low. In fact, I think it's a lot of bit low. Give me your thoughts on this. If you're following this person that you know I'm talking about, and I'll probably put her name in the title, if you're following this person and you believe what she's saying, yet you haven't made her check her work and you haven't called her out on some obvious questions that are there, like, why not just release everything? Well, then you've got to take a breath and realize that there's more than one side to a story. You can like somebody and think that they're great at what they do while still questioning what it is they do. Every single thing I say on my radio show, every single thing I say on Newsmax, where I appear a lot, or Fox, or anywhere else, I want you to check everything I say. Everything. Don't just take my word for it. And I'm asking you not to take her word for it, especially when she says she's got the receipts but isn't showing them. That's all I got to say on this one. Do me a favor, if you like what I lay down, make sure you're following, make sure you subscribe, and don't forget, come on!
Okay, so I just found out Joe Pags actually has a YouTube channel. I got this video from his Twitter, but I'll make sure his YouTube, why not just put the YouTube, Jason? That would have been smart. I'll make sure I put his YouTube and his Twitter handle because this was right on the money. This is exactly what we needed to hear. because a lot of you all have been thinking that and such of that nature. I want to bring up something that I hope I saw it. Sorry about that. Somebody asked a question. Here it is right here. Yeah. I mean, at this point, Candace is calling out Charlie Kirk's pastor. Like, and again, like, I know people don't like that I say Candace Owens is not a Christian. Explain to me why she's attacking his pastor. I'll wait. And then make that a Christian argument. That's the most ridiculous thing. No, because the man said, why don't you just tamper it down some? Calm down a little bit, cool your britches, stop putting out these theories and stuff while the family's grieving. It had barely been 8 days. And you want to go in and so now she's calling out the pastor, talking about he paid off by this person and that person. Whatever. I can't prove to you I'm not paid off. So you just going to believe what you believe. So enjoy your belief. Matter of fact, if you want to match what I'm being paid by the Mossad and all these other groups, let me know. And you can match it. How about that? Ignorant, man. Just bona fide, stir-fried foolishness. Oh, my gosh. Is that what she said? She said he was covering for BB. Like, and now I will say this: if I can say something about Joe Pags, I do respect him. Hat tip to Joe Pags. I think he should just call her name out. He should have used her name and said her name. And instead of the dancing around and if you follow this person, he should have said exactly who she is. Yeah, I mean, shout out to Eric Smith, man. Great. Good to see you, man. Thank you so much. There's 2 Eric Smiths in here now. So this is my good friend, Eric Smith, and then my Howard brother, my Hampton brother, Eric Smith over here. There's another one. So we got 2 of them. That's crazy work. But no, man, it's wild to watch. And the only reason I do this is because I actually find it a little bit morbidly interesting to watch somebody crash out like this. And to see just how, like, we're literally joking that she's not going to talk about the letter. And what does she do? She doesn't talk about the letter. We literally joke that she's going to bring in the bees. And what does she bring in? She starts talking about the Polish underground. Like, it's almost scripted. She talks about something that's scripted, like literally she's scripted. And it's a little bit interesting to see just how far this is going to go. And at what point is she going to just completely implode? But I do think that that's going to happen sooner than later. So that's why I do this. And I appreciate y'all rocking with me and hanging out, playing, enjoying the theories, enjoying the weird conspiracies that we come up with and the such of that nature, because really that's all this is, man. It's just, it's silliness, man. It's just silly. And it's sad that she is using Charlie Kirk's demise for this purpose. Like, really? Like, that's what, man, that's messed up, man. That's really sad to see, in my opinion. But I do appreciate y'all jumping in. Oh, he did put her face. Oh, let me pull up. All right, let's see what he did. I just want, hey man, just call their names. Just say the names. A friend of mine, a mentor of the channel, he used to say the names must be named. Oh yeah, he did. Yeah, he does have her on here. Let me drop his link in here real quick so you all can go check out Joe Pags. Tell him the J-Whip podcast sent you. There you go. I just dropped the link in the chat. Thank y'all so much. What else do we have here? What does Eric say here? In fact, if you want a biblical description of Candace, read Proverbs 26, 20 through 28. Well, let's do that then, Eric. How about that? We'll do that because that's what we're about. If you ever are doing a live stream and Eric Smith pops up in your live stream, let me let you know you have definitely been blessed with a good resource. Eric is a fantastic resource. All right, let's bring this in. Let's got to remove some of these things on my screen. And it's hot. All right, we're going to go with Proverbs 26, 20 through 28. Shout out to Eric Smith. Let's bring this in. Let's drop that out. Proverbs chapter 26, verse 20 through 26. For lack of wood, the fire goes out, and where there is no whisper, quarrels cease. As charcoal to hot embers and wood to fire, so is a quarrelsome man for kindling strife. The words of a whisperer are like delicious morsels. They go down into the inner parts of the body, like the glaze covering an earthen vessel, are fervent lips with an evil heart. Whoever hates disguises himself with his lips and harbors deceit in his heart. When he speaks graciously, believe him not, for there are 7 abominations in his heart. Though his hatred be covered with deception, his wickedness will be exposed in the assembly. I love it. Oh, let me keep reading because people have been saying this about Candace. Whoever digs a pit will fall into it, and a stone will come back on him who started it rolling. A lying tongue hates its victims, and a flattering mouth works ruin. Shout out. Yes, certainly. Hold on. I got to get some sound effects on that. I got to drop an effect on that for sure. Absolutely. Thank you, Eric, for that. I appreciate you, friend. Always good to have you come through. Is that not Candace? Is that not what we're talking about in 4K? Absolutely. Everyone knows who he's talking about. She's been busy stirring the pot, stirring the pot bigger time. Absolutely. Like, just go and say it. But he did put her on the thumbnail, so shout out to Joe Pags. What did James say here? You know they're going to ask potential jurors if they've been watching. And that's going to get them, that's going to ruin it up. That's going to ruin it. The jury, she's ruining the jury pool right now in 4K. The only thing left she could do is just go to Utah and set up shop and just do her show there. That's the only thing she could do to ruin the jury pool more. Candace doesn't know anything. It's all for the money. I agree 1,000%. Proud wife says, Proverbs 10:18, he that hideth hatred with lying lips, and he that uttereth slander is a fool. Shout out for sure. Thank you so much for that. Man, they ain't letting her get away with it. Yeah, I'm glad that y'all like that. I saw that earlier, and I actually did a video on it, but I just said I'll just share it with y'all because I think it's really good. And it explains like what the problem is. Like, this is not journalism. At best, it's just muckraking, really. Candace created this animosity toward her all by herself. That is a very true statement. Tatum pushes back. He did mention her on a video yesterday, I think. He mentions her today, I heard, but I downloaded it. I just don't know exactly where it is. But, I mean, it's interesting that Candace says what she said about Brandon Tatum today, in light of the fact that Brandon Tatum is literally ranting today about all of the conspiracies that are going on, and they're coming from Candace. So I think that's interesting. We'll see how it goes. This is the other Eric Smith. He said, I just got a political ad text from GOP about government shutdown. Did I get one? I did see a text come up, but I didn't see what it was. No, they don't like me. I didn't get that. Well, I'm glad that you enjoy it. Texas Bully Mom, thank you so much for hanging out with me. I appreciate all of y'all. Thank y'all. Yeah, that was an interesting conservative savage. That was a very interesting statement to make that she did. What does he say here? So political opponents aren't people. She can't debate someone and see their humanity, and they aren't woke leftists. She was asked about. She's pathetic. Like, I can disagree with you. I don't see you as not a human. That's another level. And she said it 3 times. So she meant human. Like, wait, why do you not see somebody so does she see Erica Kirk as a human? Because she disagrees with them ideologically? What about the other people at Turning Point? I'm just wondering. That's the saddest part. Oh yeah, she getting down on the teleprompter. I think they just putting stuff on the teleprompter to make her look crazy. What do we have here? Can you imagine if they get one Candy cult member? Where do you mean? As a juror. That would be, there you go. And one Candy cult member as a juror. Yeah, that would be problematic to say the least, to say the very least. Oh, I like him. Lionel's Nation. I like him. That's a smart guy too. I like smart people. They help me feel like I know what I'm talking about. Who done it? Is this today? I'm assuming it's today. Yeah. Dangerous game. Candace just playing with the lawsuit and power. It's not a long video. Hey, real quick in the chat, y'all want to watch this? It's let me pull it up real quick. Put a green hearts in the chat. There we go. Green hearts in the chat if y'all want to watch this. I wouldn't be opposed to watching this. All right, so this is Lionel's Nation. Do y'all want to watch this? Or I'll drop the link in the chat. Yo, shout out. Thank you so much, Mandy, for the $10 super. Can you do me a favor? Can you put this in your church collection plate, please? Absolutely. I will most certainly do that, Mandy, and show a video of me dropping it in the plate on Sunday. Thank you so much. Shout out from the UK. I appreciate it. And of course, Zachary, thank you again for the $10 as well. She doesn't see Jews as human is what she meant. That sentence right there is crazy. Because she disagrees with Tatum, but he is still a human. Wow. That's some next level stuff, man. She on her own. You going to keep that. Let me real quick. I want to point out MT dropped this $5 as well. And now I saw it and I didn't get a chance to address it. He was talking about Candace, talking about the ad read and the Jew Christian ad read. And here it is. I don't know them either, but Charlie did ads for them constantly. And she calls it an ugly business. So Charlie was promoting an ugly business in her eyes, which is crazy work. Yeah, man, this is ugly, pun intended. Yo, like why? Like they can't just be humans, and we disagree. That's like saying like Braves fans, like, oh, if you disagree, if you think the Mets are better, you're not human. That's just insane. Oh my gosh, I am a Christian, Deborah says. And let me know, green hearts, if y'all want to watch this. I am a Christian, Deborah says, and I see the atmosphere of hatred pre-World War II. It's pure evil. I don't see it another way. It is pretty ugly. What is it? I know who he is. Who's he? Who's a malignant narcissist? All right. It looks like y'all want to watch it. Let's look at Lionel's Nation. I like this guy. I mean, he seems like a really smart dude. I like smart people. You know how I feel about them. Let's bring him in. Green hearts in the chat when you can hear. Make sure we got good audio. Let's go.
I think one of the most difficult things for people to understand in this business that we're in is that if you want to be effective doing what it is you're doing, you better stay on the air. And you better make sure you make as few enemies as possible if you don't have to. Be effective, be specific, be deadly, but don't waste your time being a martyr. It's very difficult for some people to realize. I understand this. I grasp that. Sometimes people think it's a good idea to go out there guns a-blazing. But then again, you realize you lose yourself on the battlefield and you're a casualty, and then you help no one. And in the case of our friend, Candace Owens, let me just start off right off the bat by telling you right now, she is so monumentally talented. I don't know if she has a mentor. I don't know if anybody is watching her. I think she is setting herself up for one of the biggest collapses of all time because she takes things personally. And whenever I attempt to do this, or I've tried to do this, or tried my best to ask people or to explain this, invariably people will take it very, very personally. They're very, very parochial. They're very, very territorial. That's my Candace or my Alex or Charlie or Tucker or whoever it is.
Okay, I totally see where he's going. So I want to real quick. I hear people saying talented too, so I know a lot of people feel some kind of way about the talented part. I'm gonna let the talented part lay because Joe Pag said it, and this gentleman Lionel is saying it. I'm gonna leave that alone. But I do like where he's going, so let's give him a chance to tease it out as it relates to the way that she's going about it, because I do think that she's getting set up for a letdown. Let's go.
And they look at it as though it's almost like they own these people and that this is an affront to their system or what they like. It's not like that at all. You have to really understand this is a very serious business here. And sometimes people in the biz don't understand it. They're not kidding around. When you have access to 2, 3, 4, 5 million people, and you have access not to people in general, but to a targeted group of folks that you are able to access, whether it's young people or people of a particular age or demographic, you've really got to understand something. This is a very, very, very serious deal here. Very serious. Monumentally serious. And that's why you have to understand and grasp this. So I wanted to spend just a few moments going over this because I really see it as clear as you can possibly see it. I see what is happening. But I want to also tell you something right now, which is very, very critical, also very important. Today is the last show of the month, and our good friends at preparewithlionel.com have a deal that is a limited time. I don't know if today's the last day. I don't know. They don't let me know. But with all that is going on, and when I've talked about civil war, I mentioned civil war yesterday. The civil war that we're going to see is a civil war not involving Antietam or Shoal Creek. It's going to be culture. It's going to be about nationality. It's going to be about people fighting for what was, is, and could be theirs. There will be civil war in the streets. You're going to see false flags. You're going to see lockdowns, riots, blackouts, supply chain sabotage. This isn't theory. This isn't just, well, maybe. It's reality. And the elites that are dismantling everything on schedule know it. And if you had to go 1 week without food, the system collapses. Cash, crypto, gold are all worthless when your family's hungry. Hunger is the weapon. Control is the plan. Survival is primal, my friend. Food, water, energy, ammo. That's it. And that's the game. And that's why I trust. Believe me, they are the best. My Patriot Supplies 3-month food kit. Over 2,000.
Okay, I didn't know that was going to be an ad read. I apologize. Shout out to Miss Manners. I appreciate you. What does she say here? This is an active investigation, not an episode of Law and Order. That's hilarious. I wish I had the sound effect. She needs her meds adjusted. I don't understand it. Let's keep this going.
The right thing. Now, we are getting into some territory right now where people are making big, big mistakes in confusing. And by the way, thank you for the likes. We need the likes. I need at least 9 million likes. I know that's a bit much, but I need that. I want you to lose some words from your vocabulary. And Candace, this goes for you, okay? Lose some words. Just don't ever say them. Hitler. Think of these as the N word. Oh, you can maybe justify. Just don't ever say them. Don't. Just stay away from it. Hitler. If Hitler, unless you're giving a lecture at a war college, the word Hitler should never be a part of your vocabulary. Jews. Unless you're talking about, this is the holy days, I like to say hello to my Jewish friends, fine. The word Jews, leave it out of your vocabulary. Just leave it out. It's not important. You don't need it. If you have to use the word Jews, you really don't know what you're doing. Israel, cautious, unless the issue is specifically about Israel, or as Candace says, Israel. Okay? Do what I'm telling you. Just trust me. When you are trying to put together who was responsible for Charlie Kirk, and you have this overwhelming anger towards Israel, the Jews, whatever you think, think what you want. Think anything. Go ahead, be my guest. There is absolutely no evidence of anybody being responsible for the death of her. None. For the Charlie Kirk. I'm not. And if you think you can identify Jews, Israel, CIA, Ben Shapiro, Tucker Carlson, anybody, you don't know enough about this. Okay? There is this group of people right now who are not, I do not believe, I swear to you, I do not believe they are anti-Semitic in the classic definition of the case. I don't believe so. There are people who are just, maybe they don't realize it. Maybe to them it's just like saying the Russians or the Ukrainians or the commies or the Patriots or MAGA. Maybe it's just a label to you. Maybe it's just a label. Maybe it's just a designation. Maybe among friends of yours, that's what you speak. But if you are trying to make a point, and if you're trying to maintain some type of credibility, and if you're trying to really maintain your position as a force to be reckoned with, and if you're Candace Owens, who faces so much right now with that Brigitte Macron suit. See, we're not talking about this. I hope she's backed off this. I hope she just prays that they settle for something reasonable.
They want a pound of
Because
flesh.
I'm telling you what they're going to be doing. You've got some very powerful people out there. Thank you, Lori Jo Woods. Welcome, Lori. You've got some very powerful people out there. And you are unnecessarily sticking your thumb. So what they're going to do is this. Here's what I would do. Number one. By the way, I got this office chair at Costco, by the way. It's very nice. And this came with it too for the Allen wrench. What a weapon this is.
That's illegal to use that as a weapon.
Man, I'm keeping this. In any event, somebody somewhere is going to go to the law firm, I forget their name, who handled the Dominion case, the big Dominion lawsuit.
Claire.
Right, where they settled for almost $1 billion, never even called a witness. And somebody's going to say, I'll make a deal with you. We will help you. We want to see her just go away. And we want to see her go away. And we want to see all of the folks and all of the platforms that she has been on. And we want them to go away too. We want to get some type of a judgment and then go after all of them. Name them, Rogan and Tucker. And we just want to shut these people down. And she remains a target. She has no idea what she's done. A lot of people watching her think it's funny. I think it's funny. Brigitte Macron, you think she's a man and all this. You think it's funny. You've got no stake in the game. No, you got no dog in the fight. I don't blame you. It's kind of interesting. It's kind of funny, you know. She's done it this time, though. And nobody even understands it. And her greatest allies. And when it comes to a legal analysis, I'll tell you what it is. And you may not like it because sometimes you think that the good guys always win. No, not necessarily. The good guys don't necessarily win. But if you want to explain about going back to Charlie Kirk, talk about what happened beforehand. Charlie Kirk said some things, it's true, about the culpability, the responsibility of either Israel or whatever you want to call it. That's number one. Number two, there are people, I keep using this word a lot, these internecine battles within Turning Point USA. Okay? There are people within those that you have to pay attention to. There are folks within that group. There are people who want him out for a variety of reasons, so that's the second group. Number 3, there's the story which I believe has been advanced, the idea of Tyler Robinson on his own, for whatever reason, feeling this anger, this incredible sense of anger and resentment towards Charlie Kirk because of statements about trans or whatever it could be. Don't eliminate it. That's a possibility. You can also have you could say cui bono, cui prodest, who benefited? A lot of people. Then there are people who just want to be this lone assassin who don't necessarily represent anyone, ladies and gentlemen. I need 300 likes. Please, my friends, like this video. Hate to say that. I hate to be such a nudge, but it's so critical. Remember, today's the last day of the month. Just 15 more minutes until that's it for us. And we start a new one. September's gone. So we want to get all of our numbers in, all of our stuff in as soon as possible. Okay, that's number 1. So when you want to say something, you want to say, well, here's what's interesting. Before this happened, Tucker had some very serious things to say about either the war in Gaza, the involved in that, a variety of things. You don't have to say, and therefore Israel did it. Say it. Say it. Go down the list and say he was saying this. And by the way, if you were to say that, it doesn't necessarily mean that Israel per se is responsible for somebody who perhaps might take offense at what you said about Israel, who is not associated with Israel, who is not in the Likud or Mossad or whatever, because people love to just go for, they don't know how to distinguish suspicion from what we're seeing here. I don't know what this is, my friend.
What happened there?
I don't know what this is. What the hell is this? Hang on a minute.
All right, this is
Wait a minute.
I forgot his last name, but his
okay,
Lionel Nation.
There we go. I don't know what the hell that was. So you don't have to say the therefore part. Just tell people what it is. Tell people tell people what you are suspicious of, but don't say it. Do you know that today, if I ask you, I'll give you a perfect example. If I ask you, who do you think is responsible? Who killed John Kennedy? Anybody who answers immediately, anybody who says, I don't know, doesn't know what they're talking about. Anybody who says anything short of, I don't know, doesn't know what they're talking about. And I've been looking at that, my friend, my whole life. They'll point to things, they'll say CIA. I think, no, it doesn't work like that. It's not the CIA. It's not one person. There are people and organizations and offshoots. And there's, whenever people talk about the mob, they never say the Italians. They never do. They never say the Sicilians, to be correct. They just don't. They just never do. They'll say organized crime or whatever it is. They never feel the need to do that. And I'm kind of glad they do. During 9/11, there were these folks who immediately said that Larry Silverstein was responsible. And the reason why Larry Silverstein was responsible, because he said, quote, pull it. And he said, pull it. And because he said, pull it, people said he obviously did Building 7 and was responsible for everything. That this is what they actually believed in. They really believed it. They just did. And you could say, wait a minute, the dancing Israelis, to many people, gave them the impression or gave them the idea that Israel was involved because Larry Silverstein was in Epstein. People said Mossad. Where did Mossad come from? Why not Amman? Why not Shin Bet? Why not no one? because we as fans of this get involved in the lore and the romance of intel. There was a time when we loved NSA. NSA was, everything was NSA. NSA to us was it. NSA was responsible. And then we just forgot about them. Now it's back to CIA and then others. Then we talk about deep state and shadow government. And we use these things because there are some people who thoroughly love this idea, this kind of this cloak and dagger stuff. And it's fun and it's really kind of neat. But they get too wrapped up in it because there's no evidence of it. There are 17 in this country alone, 17 separate, I believe 17 separate intelligence agencies, government, federal, from naval intelligence to whatever. Oh, there's Carla says, an international coalition unalive JFK. Could very well be, or maybe not. Maybe not. You know, Carla, there are some people who say, I don't have to do anything. Remember, lie hop, let it happen on purpose. My hop, make it happen on purpose. If I am in your organization and I'm a part of a cabal, a group of people who do not care for you or your business or you, and I know something is happening, something is coming, something is around the corner, I don't have to necessarily get involved in it. I can just not stop it.
Right.
When there are people who sit around and say, for example, that something is going to happen, nobody puts it in writing. Nobody says, okay, we're going to all vote. Okay, Candace Owens, we're going to get it. Okay, no. Nope. And by the way, what frightens me, and I think you'll agree, we need to have a group of people. We need to have what used to be called a Russell Tribunal or a Sartre Tribunal. So we need to get our smartest people available on the street, on the, how do I say this? On the
All right, I'm gonna take a station break. I get what he's saying, but he is definitely saying it in a very. I watched him one time before, and the video I watched before was just spot on the money, and I was like, oh well, I'll watch it again today. I'm gonna let that one ride. I left the link to his channel down in the chat if you want to check it out. Let me make sure I got it right. Yeah, it's right here. Check it out. Feel free to finish up with that. Now, apparently, Officer Tatum called out Candace today, and if anybody knows about, because this video is about an hour and 20 minutes long, so 70 minutes long, give or take. Anybody know exactly when he started? Because somebody just said toward the end of his video, so I don't know where that is, where it might be. Let me see. Hold on. I think I found it. I found it. Talk about just the wow. I literally just moved around and I found it. And he literally says, I want to talk about Charlie Kirk. All right, so let's bring in Officer Tatum, and I'll be done with this. I don't know. We're going to find out together. Indecisive wig wear. We're going to find out together. Uh-oh, is he getting paid by him? Uh-oh. Yeah, I don't know much about him, James. Literally, this is my first time. It was my second time watching him and probably my first time bringing him on screen. Oh, before we do that, though, I do want to say thank you so much to Amethyst for the very kind and very gracious $5 super. I really do appreciate it. For real, y'all. For real. What does she say here? I think we should start calling her Mrs. Farmer. If everybody did, she'll crack under the weight of her crumbling identity. It would be a stellar psy-op. I like Candace, though. Call her Mrs. Farmer. Let's work on that. I wouldn't be opposed to it. But let me bring Brandon Tatum in here. Let's talk about what he got going on. Let's go.
Now, I'm going to say this. in light of all the stuff that you guys know has been going on online, can I just be very clear about this? Attacking Erica Kirk is evil. Attacking Turning Point USA, in my opinion, in a time such as this, is evil. I think it's evil. You know, this is the part that bothers me about conspiratorial conversations and people who are out here just utilizing their platform to get clicks and to push hatred and division. Let me just say this. If you're a person out here online claiming that you got evidence or something, put all your evidence out on the first day you talk about it. Why is it looks weird to me when it's a drip, 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 drip. Put all your stuff on the plate. If there's something that people done nefariously and there's video evidence and there's receipts, put it out there on the plate right now. It don't need to be waiting to the next episodes. You don't need to wait till your next YouTube upload, your next article you write. Put your stuff out there because this is supposed to be information for the people. And I just think it's shameful when I see people talking about Erica Kirk. They want her to be a woe is me wife. They want her to be a woman up there crying all day she can't get nothing done. Well, Charlie, I'm glad he didn't marry a woman like that. He married a woman did like this all day. She's stuck. She can't do nothing. Ain't no man want a woman like that. When I die, my wife cry at home, but stuff got to get done. Now, my wife ain't going to start working when I die. But she definitely ain't, I don't want her sitting around crying all day long. I'm gone. Crying ain't finna bring me back. But what will make me happy and a way to honor me in my death is to continue my legacy. To show up every day with your best face, your best attitude, and your best glorification of God. And when you go home, you can cry. But when you got to get on the podcast and you got to stand before the American people to honor your husband, you can pull it together enough to do that. Why y'all going after Erica, man? It's sickening to me. And I'll say this and I'm going to get to the clip, I promise. My heart goes out to Andrew, the video team, the security team. I'm still hurting for them. I talked to Andrew on the phone and he choked up talking about Charlie. They still hurting over this. They're still hurting. Nick was choking up over here when he heard Andrew choking up. Like, why? What is the purpose of people? And I'm not talking about the naysayers because most of y'all stupid anyway, believing all these stupid conspiracy theories. You're just stupid. That's what it is. It's not questioning. You believe a conspiracy theory with no evidence. Just dumb. I'm not shocked because half America is stupid voting for Kamala Harris. Anyway, enough of that.
Everybody catches strays.
Aren't you hurting for them? Don't you realize that the video team is with Charlie every single day? He traveled hundreds sometimes. They there 100 times. They put on SAS. They do all this stuff. And they watched him get murdered in front of them. Don't you know that they're hurting? Why add fuel to the pain? His pastor who married him and Erica. You think he just don't care? You think he just never loved Charlie? People that don't know him is crying, sad and broken, heaviness in their chest, and they never met Charlie and knew him at all. Imagine the people that were with him every day. Imagine an organization that's just trying to move forward because that's what Charlie would want them to do. Why hurt people? I got text messages from Charlie. I'm not finna put his text message online for you to share it and like it. That was a conversation between me and him, and he's dead. He can't give me permission to put his messages out there. And listen, God dog it, I know Charlie. Charlie was a private person. Charlie never put his business out in the street. Charlie didn't address issues. He didn't address controversies. Charlie did all his stuff in private. I would never put his messages online and tell you what he told me in private. If he wanted you to know, he'd have told you. All this riffraff about who Charlie was trying to be and what he was doing and where he was going and all that, he dead. What does it matter? What does it matter? If he hated the Jews, so what? He ain't coming back. He can't defend himself. He can't even come back from what people are painting him to be. He may have changed his mind, changed it back. But a 31-year-old man that dedicated his life to Christ and the movement is dead, and people are using his name to get rich or to be relevant. Why would you do that to Charlie? Why? It's not an amount of money in the world for me to disrespect this man while he dead. It's not an amount of money in the world for me to push a conspiracy when they got a man arrested. Do you want him to get off? Do you want them to have a case where he don't get the death penalty? Do you want people to release information and compromise the investigation? My God. You guys don't know how frustrated I am talking about this. It's real. People were there. People witnessed horror. People were at the hospital, rushing him, doing CPR, trying to save him. They watched him die. His wife had to see his lifeless body. I've been to the morgue. I've seen tons of dead people. It's not a pretty sight. And it's somebody you love. They ain't never coming back. They're cold, they're stiff, blank eye. You see the hole in his neck that killed this man. And you can't have enough respect to say, man, let me hold up a little bit. Who will I hurt by pushing a conspiracy? It hurt me, man. I love these people, man. They're just young people trying to do the right thing. Video team full of young dudes wouldn't hurt a fly. Security team supporting that man everywhere he go. Dedicating their life to Charlie Kirk. And now people talking about the security team is in on it. Man, that's so sickening to me. Do you not care about anybody else? Are you not thinking about all these kids in Turning Point that's just trying to push the mission while they're hurting on the inside about what happened to Charlie? And some people want to see the whole thing tore down. Some people would love to see Turning Point just go away. People say, I love Charlie so much that I want to see his legacy gone. What sense does that make?
Say the name.
I have not always agreed with Turning Point. I've not always agreed with some how they treat me sometimes. But at the end of the day, it's young people acting in good faith. I go on campus and I see it in their eyes. I pray for these young people. I encourage these young people. It's not hard. It's easy to sit behind a desk or sit behind a screen, a millionaire with security and all this other stuff. But it's not easy to be on campus as a young person and your peers hate you. And you're not getting paid for it. These young people ain't getting paid for this. They out there tabling in the middle of a storm, trying to give hope to people on campus. And they get spit on and thrown at. The teachers want to kick them out of school. But some people are so goddamn selfish that they ain't thinking about them not one time. Not none of these kids. I'm so close. I'm so close to going all in. I'm this close.
Do it, sir.
When I heard the conspiracy of one of my favorite video guys acting as if it's bizarre and odd for him to be next to Charlie Kirk, I almost lost it. Every time we do videos, the video team and the director of the videos stand right here. So if something go wrong with my lapel, something goes wrong with the microphone, something go wrong with the cameras, the person who's in charge of that can immediately address the issue. I'm so angry, man. I'm so angry. I'm sick of it, bro. I just don't know what else to say. I'm sick of watching these conspiracies online. The lapel mic did it. Why would you say that? They got the wrong guy. Well, why don't you help them find the right guy? Instead of acting like you joining in on the computer, help them find the right guy. Are you sending the information that you're getting? Everybody online think they got secret information. Are you sending that to the FBI? Are you allowing your local law enforcement? You giving them tips on what may be somebody else involved? You cowardice folk would rather make $1 and go viral than to let the FBI help them in investigation. I swear some people may have information they don't want to let the FBI know. So the FBI don't have evidence that they can present in court. If you got information, give it to the people who are investigating. You think there's another shooter? Send that to the government. Instead, some people want to play detective on their own. If I get information that I think will be incriminating or that would lead to the guy that they have not being the guy that's responsible, I'm going to the FBI. I want to deliver information to them so they cannot be arresting the wrong person. The FBI won't find out on my podcast. It just don't make sense. I think the FBI is acting in good faith, but some of y'all out here pushing conspiracies that don't make sense. They don't have no evidence. They presented to the court evidence of phone calls. Man. Okay. All right. I'm so upset. I don't even know if I can do this video. We'll just play it in post-production. Here's a video, or when we finish the live, we put the video out next. We'll play this video in that video because I'm so upset. I got to get out here. But we're going to play one of the witnesses. It was a TPUSA witness, and it was also the guy who was asking the last question before Charlie got shot. They were interviewed on 60 Minutes, and we'll play that video. But anyway, I appreciate you guys. What is this? What is this video? This is 60 Minutes video. Oh, okay. We'll play this video. We'll play it later. I love you guys. I'm getting off here before I lose my mind.
Don't lose your mind, brother. All right, so that was Officer Tatum, and yeah, I mean he's frustrated, but I think he needs to say, as many people said, he needs to call Candace by name, because really a lot of these conspiracies, the lapel mic, I heard her mention that one, but I don't think she propagated that. But a lot of the other conspiracies that he's frustrated about, that the security guards standing too close and to such of that nature, he needs to call her by name. Like, Candace, you did this. This is what you're doing. But, shout out for calling it out. But I think he could, or should rather, we don't need to dance around it. You're talking about Mrs. Farmer. That's what you're talking about. You're talking about Candaspiracy. Just go ahead and say that up front, loud and clear. I think that would have been better. But, I mean, that was very passionate. I agree with him. I say amen to everything that he was saying. I think it's foul and dirty that this is what people are doing. And again, and I don't even think people realize, these people still are trying to navigate this as if there's like a shot clock. Like, oh, Charlie passed away on the 10th, so they need to be ready to go by this time. Like, no, like that doesn't even make sense. That's crazy. So the candy farmer is crazy work. All right. Now, there's some good people here. Thank y'all so much for shouting us out. Thank you so much. That was a good one. And I appreciate y'all. I did ask the poll question. Do y'all like doing these things? The little watch parties. It looks like the general consensus is yes. So we'll do it again tomorrow. We'll be back and do it again tomorrow. Tomorrow's Thursday. I'm going to do Thankful Thursday. I just want to let y'all know, man, I really appreciate y'all. So I might just do a show tomorrow just talking about, how you all blessed this channel and what we're doing over here. Because last month, September, was fantastic. And it's because you all tapped in and just watched the videos, hit the like button, that kind of stuff like that. Jumped into the best live chat on the planet, the most electrifying comment section on the earth, and just got in. Thank y'all so much for that. I really appreciate it. Thank you for the supers. Thank you for all of that. So I'm going to talk about that tomorrow. And I just want to say I appreciate Miss Manners again for the very kind and gracious $5 super as well. Thank y'all so much. I appreciate y'all, your insights and your thoughts. Like I said, I got several emails about my theory. By the way, let me drop that link in there. I want y'all to watch this video that I did earlier today, proposing a theory about why Candace behaves like she does. And I want to know what you think about it. So please watch it. Give me your thoughts. If the moderators have not already done, I should have the video link ready. I don't know why I didn't. And I'm ready to go. They put a thumbnail on this thing. What's up with that? Get it together, Editor Jason. All right. I just dropped the link in the chat. Go check it out. You can watch it later or whatever. I just want to know what you think about it. Give me your thoughts on it for sure. Everybody have a great evening. The wife just walked in. I hear them talking really loud about what we're going to do for dinner. So I got to get in and make sure my daughter cooks something. So until next time, everybody, make sure you hit that like button on the way out the door. Green hearts on the way out the door, everybody. Grace and peace. Take care. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the Jay Witt Podcast. If you enjoyed today's show, please do me a favor and hit me up with that 3-piece special. Like the video, subscribe, and of course, share it with somebody who would also enjoy this type of content. And make sure you leave a comment because I do pin the best comments to the top. So thank you so much for tuning in today. And until next time, everybody, grace and peace.